All right, everyone. So I just wanted to share this with you. Actually, a friend asked me to just explain him the entire procedure of claiming a compensation. So I decided instead of just typing it all out, just to do a video. And then I decided, why don't I do a video that I share with everyone and do a little bit of a publicity for those guys because they're really cool. So for those of you who don't know, there is an EU regulation currently in place in Europe which covers you. Well, it's not really an insurance. It's more of it's a law, really. So if your flight was delayed or canceled, or you were denied boarding, or you were overbooked because of an airline's fault, then they have to pay you a certain amount between 450, no, between 250 and 600 euros. And this website helps you calculate it and start your claim. So it's www.claimcompass.eu, and let's input a flight here. So let's say you traveled on this flight and you left on, this is not my actual travel information because it's been a couple of months, because it takes some time before they get your money, because they fight the airline doesn't want to pay, and so forth. So I don't really remember the exact details. So I just found this on Google. So that's a Istanbul to Berlin flight. That's actually a flight that I took. It wasn't on this date, but anyway. So you hit total your compensation, and it brings you to this page, which is already pre-filled from the previous one, and you fill out the details of whatever the airline said that it would do, but it didn't. So Istanbul. So they said that we were going to travel on the 11th, on the 18th at 11:15. We were going to leave, and we were going to go to Berlin. By the way, make sure that you spell out the airport, because if you just do this, BXL, which is for Tego, it's not going to find it. So make sure that you spell it out and you select it from the list. And then you select the time when you were supposed to land. So that flight was supposed to land at something like 25 past noon. By the way, make sure you distinguish, this here would be in the morning, this would be in the afternoon. So that's important as well. Otherwise, it's not going to calculate it correctly. You hit next, and what happened? The flight was delayed. It was delayed because some sort of a technical difficulty. Under EU regulation, by the way, you're not covered under those three conditions. So it's things like that don't are outside of the airline's control, and they will not be able to do anything for you. But technical difficulties and schedule issues are airline's fault. And even though they try to tell you that a technical difficulty is an extreme circumstance outside of their control, that's not true. They have to check their engines and everything, make sure. That's their responsibility, and they have to compensate you if they didn't do their job properly. So your actual travel dates were still the same, let's say, but instead of leaving at 11:15, you left at, I don't know, at say 4:15 in the afternoon. So you hung out at the airport quite a bit, got tired and frustrated, and you got in Berlin at 5:15 instead of the promised 12:25. And you hit next. Here you can share some information. I personally didn't, because I've used them before, and mine was pretty straightforward. But if there's something confusing and that you want to explain, then you can probably put that in there. And you put your booking reference number, which is always something confusing, like a bunch of digits and numbers and whatever. So you put that in here, and if you had a connecting flight, I had one from when I traveled to Montreal, and it was connecting in Switzerland, so we would input it here, but let's say that we didn't, and it was direct, and you hit next, and there you have it. It calculates it for you. So you have your compensation here. Next step is to register. You put your email address and a password, then you'll be able to log in, and then you can view the status of your claim. So I only have 5 minutes with the software that I'm using to record this video, so be sure to check them out. It's claimcompass.eu. They're great.